I'm her. I'm here. That's the curtain. And I'm not running late, but I'm not running early. Alrighty. This is number 226 YouTube Live Yoga Routine. And I need to get this cursor out of the way. I have my computer here, and it's connected to my Logitech camera that's $150 because I can't stream with my cell phone, which is a better camera than the one I have. But I need 1,000 subscribers before YouTube lets me stream live with a cell phone. But you can stream live with the computer. And put on my socks. That's how Mr. Rogers. I should do this every time. You know, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's not. Sometimes. So today, before we begin the yoga routine, I want to mention what's his name? Swami. That is part of the reason, my screenshots, I pulled up the quote. That's part of the reason yoga is in America. Yoga, the part of yoga that's part of Hinduism, that's in America. Tricky. As Americans, we pick and choose what we like of a religion. And yoga is one of those things that we have said, hey, I like that part of Hinduism. But Hinduism, yoga, another country does not have a monopoly on yoga. Now, when we say the word yoga, we think Hinduism, we think India, we think the guy that's dressed up like he's from the 60s as the yogi. But yoga is a natural state. A religion does not have a monopoly on yoga. A culture doesn't have it. A society doesn't have it. It exists within every religion. It exists in nature, in the sense of the mind and body becoming one. That is yoga. But what I want to talk about before we begin is Swami Vivekananda. I think I said his name right. So Swami Vivekananda was born today in what year? 1863. So that's about 150 years ago. And he passed away July 4th, 1902. So he was born 1863, passed away 1902. So he lived, I think that's 39 years. And why he's important in regards to yoga, being in America, being in the Western world, is because he's the one that is credited to bringing the universality, the interfaithness, which is not a word, but he brought the understanding of a tolerant interpretation of Hinduism to America. And he did this in a speech that he gave in 1893 at the World's Religion in Chicago. So he made a speech in 1893 at the Parliament of the World Religions in Chicago. And what was important about this speech is that it talked about about tolerance. It talked about interfaithness. That's not a word, but I'm using it as a word. It's the universality of Hinduism. And this is the part of the speech, and I'll link this below this video, but that, in my opinion, sums up the speech. He states, "I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. As Americans, we jump on that. We like that. Not all Americans. I'm not stereotyping all Americans, but we have this embedded feeling of interfaithness. Whether we express it or not, it's in our psyche because of separation between church and state. I don't want to get too deep about this, but this is researched. This is something I'm not making up. It's true. We have this separation between church and state. So when we see something of a religion that we like, we have this ability to window shop and say, hey, I like that part. But Hinduism is not understood like that by everyone. Same way with Christianity. Same way with Islam. In Christianity, people have this interfaithness interpretation of the Bible, where in, I believe it's John 14:2, where there's many mansions in my Father's house. Something like that. Indicates that, hey, Christianity is not the only way. Of course, I know the verse that says it is the only way, but it doesn't really say that. I wrote a paper on that. That's how I know that. And in Islam, the same concept exists. Islam is not the only way for some Muslims. And it's the same with Hinduism. In Islam, as a Muslim myself, I definitely have an Americanized understanding of Islam. No doubt. Culture, society, my life has allowed me to interpret Islam differently than someone else in another culture. Culture shapes a religion. And that is the part I want to mention about this Parliament speech. Because as Americans, we understand yoga this way. We've taken something from a religion and said, hey, I like that. I'm going to make it mine. It's Americanized. The yoga that I do today is Americanized. It's even Charlie-nized. And you make it your individual path too. But again, I'm going to put up my phone. We have to remember the mind and body connecting as one is not controlled by any religion. Hinduism does not have a monopoly on yoga. The Indian culture does not have a monopoly on yoga. It existed always. It exists in Christianity. Yoga exists in Hinduism, well, of course, in Buddhism, in Judaism, and Islam, because it's a natural state. You don't even have to be religious. You can be an atheist. You have a mind, you have a body as an atheist. And if you get rid of those barriers that prevent the mind and body from becoming one, then the mind and body will become one, and you will enter into yoga. You will enter into oneness. Don't label it. Don't label it. So, with that understanding, which is probably confusing, there's a lot to it. I could give a whole lecture about this. And of course, I would have to sit down and write out the lecture so it would make sense and not rush in here and try to explain something so deep. But it's just a bite size. Research it yourself. Watch the video. I'm going to put the link to the video of this Parliament speech. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool stuff. But it's Americanized. It's Americanized. And that's okay, because I'm an American. I struggled with that, real quick, one minute. I struggled with that when I was becoming a Muslim. People were trying to make me Arab. That happens in yoga, too. You get into the yoga world. I've been in the yoga world for 20 years plus, and people are not separating culture. They're not separating the religion. They're not separating, and they're going towards another culture and claiming mystic experiences. And that's cool, man. There's nothing wrong with that. But we don't want to mistake foreignness for spirituality. And sometimes we do that as Americans. We want something that looks different, and it makes us feel like, whoa, we're in the otherness, when we're just tapping into someone else's culture. And there's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that. But I like to bring yoga to an Americanized understanding of yoga. Just the same way I do with Islam, same way I try to understand Christianity, the same way I try to understand, because I don't want to strip myself from who I am. And I don't want other people to do the same. I don't want someone to think, hey, this is cool stuff, man, this is cool. And then, well, to be a yogi, you have to do this and that. No, man, just be an American, connect the mind and body together, get in your Ford Mustang, go to work, at the Ford plant, and during the break, go do some yoga. Sit in the car and meditate, connect the mind and body as one. Then get out of the Ford Mustang, go back to work. Make it part of who you are. Don't change who you are. Make it part of who you are. Accept who you are. Once you accept who you are, boom, you go into yoga. All right, too long. I talked too long. So, mountain pose, of course, the sun salutations, mountain pose, and then focusing on the breathing the entire time. And that's what we're going to do today. So, feet are shoulder width apart. Toes go up. I didn't mean to speak that long. Sometimes when I'm not prepared, I speak too long, because I don't know what I'm saying. The whole time, I made all that up. I don't even know what I'm saying. Actually, I'm thinking back. I don't even know what I said. See? Such a good yoga instructor. All right, feet shoulder width apart. Toes go out. Spread the toes as wide as you can. Each toe touches the floor one at a time. Knees are bent. Hips are tilted. Arms are relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. Neck is relaxed. And then lengthen up. So think of the skeleton. Pull yourself up, and then let the bones of the skeleton sit on top of each other, and finding that stability in the skeleton. In the mountain pose, you're becoming one like a mountain. Just like the mountain is one with the earth, it is the earth, you are one with the earth too. So feel that, tap into that mindset, become one and feel oneness. And in oneness, there's strength and stability. And the oneness means you're one with everything. Doesn't mean it's just one blob, like, that's not what oneness is. You're one with everything. Everything affects you. Your body's part of the stars. That's what science says. I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's true that science says that, but. And just focus on the breathing. Now you're going to watch yourself breathe by watching the belly go in and out. So you inhale, the belly expands with air. And when you exhale, the belly goes in. Watch that. Remember, you're already breathing, so you're not controlling it. You're just watching it. Palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Push the arms out, up and back. Inhale slowly. Then exhale. As you exhale, you hinge forward from the lower back. We're going to go right into the standing forward bend. So palms to the calves, elbows into the sides of the legs. Exhale all the air out, all the air leaves. Pull yourself in and down, forehead's going to the knees. And then go ahead and release. And then just watch yourself breathe. You're not controlling the breathing. You are pulling yourself in and down. But once you're settled in the pose, you're accepting. And it's almost like you're not pulling yourself in and down. The palms to the sides of the feet. Left leg is back into a low lunge. With a low lunge, so the foot's to the floor, in the back, knees to the floor, hips are square, pushing forward diagonally, back is arching, head is up. Inhaling. Inhale as much as you can. And then go ahead and release. And then just watch yourself breathe. Accepting where you are in the pose. Don't judge it. Judgment is a barrier that will prevent the mind and body from becoming one. Then you're going to go to high lunge just for a second or so. It's a transition pose. So get in the high lunge, curl the toes into the back, knee goes up, and then downward dog. With the downward dog, arms are straight, legs are straight, tailbones to the ceiling, heels are towards the floor. You're exhaling all the air out slowly, and then go ahead and release and just breathe and watch yourself breathe. Now you are pushing yourself into the pose, but you're only going to the spot right before you feel like, man, I shouldn't go any further. Find that spot, settle, accept, and focus on the breathing. And now you slide into the upward dog. Drop down to the knees and the chest. Slide up. And then tops of the feet are to the floor. Palms are to the floor. And this is the upward dog. Modify the pose how you have to. So if you need to go down to the cobra, small cobra, belly's on the ground. Palms are touching the floor. You're not pushing up. You're not using the palms. You're pulling up. Back muscles are pull muscles. So you pull up. You're inhaling, well, you already inhaled, and then you exhale and just follow the breathing. And just focus on the breathing. Think of nothing else but of the breathing. Then back to downward dog. Exhale. All the air goes. Exhale, push all the air out. And then release. And then just watch yourself breathe. You are in the pose. You are pushing into the pose. But you're only going to the spot right before you feel like, man, I shouldn't go any further. Find that spot, settle, accept, and focus on the breathing. And then left foot is up between the hands into a low lunge. With a low lunge, top of the foot's to the floor in the back, knees to the floor, hips are square, pushing forward diagonally, back is up, arching, head is up. And then just focus on the breathing. So you inhale as much as you can, and then release, and then just focus on the breathing. Watching yourself breathe, settle in the pose, don't judge it, don't try to be somewhere, just accept. Once you accept, capital A, boom, you tap into yoga. Openness, oneness. Then high lunge. Curl the toes into the back, knee goes up, and then standing forward bend, pull yourself in and down, get all the air out, all the air leaves. And then release, and then just watch yourself breathe. Palms together, reach out, up and back, inhale. And exhale, turn the palms out, push the air down and out. One more, inhale. Exhale, as you exhale, you hinge forward from the lower back. Pull yourself in and down, get all the air out. All the air leaves. And then release, and then just watch yourself breathe. Left leg is back, low lunge, opening up, feeling open. Don't judge the pose. Inhaling, and then release, and watch yourself breathe. Accept where you are. It's the mindset. When you accept yourself in the pose, you're learning a mindset to accept yourself off the yoga mat. When you accept where you are in life, you accept who you are, then you tap into yoga. Then you can move upward or accept where you are. Know that, hey, my life is awesome. Or you can say, hey, I need to make this change. You gotta figure out the baseline, where you are. Downward dog, exhaling. Gotta be truthful. Capital T. And just watch yourself breathe. Accepting. So even if you're here, you're like, man, I can't go back anymore. That's all right. Yoga is when the mind and body connects. Yoga is not the so-called yoga poses. Just slide into downward dog. Inhaling. And then exhale. And just watch yourself breathe and just breathe. And back to downward dog. Exhale. Releasing. Just watch yourself breathe. Left foot is up, between the hands, low lunge. Low lunge, opening up, feeling open, accepting, and just focus on the breathing. Thinking of nothing else but the breathing. Then high lunge, then standing forward bend, pull yourself in and down. Get all the air out, then release. Then just watch yourself breathe. And palms together, reach out, up and back, inhale. Then turn the palms out, push the air down and out, exhale. And then back to mountain pose. And just focus on the breathing, watching yourself breathe. See, my cough is getting better and better. I was moving. Usually when I move around and do yoga, I start coughing more. So we're going to do the mountain pose, tree pose, then back to mountain pose. So feet are shoulder width apart. Very important to begin in the mountain pose. Can't speak. So get settled in the mountain pose. Find that spot where the skeleton just stands as if you were just your skeleton. Now, this is going to be odd, but the world's record for the most bowling balls stacked up, I believe is 9. I was going to say 8, but I think it's 9. The bowling balls don't have skin on them, muscle, fat, tendons, ligaments, none of that. The skeleton are those bowling balls. The bones are those bowling balls. So find that spot. Just like the bowling balls are positioned so they can stack up. Look this up. So I get the Guinness Book of World Record every year. So this is what you're doing with the skeleton. Find that stability where the skeleton just stands. No tension. And you even go with the sway. So you move a little bit for whatever reason. You go with it. You don't fight it. Fighting it is not stability. When you're trying to stay still, and you're like, oh, I gotta move, and you don't, it breaks. Stability is in that flexibility. You don't break, you go with it. And just watch yourself breathe, and focus on the breathing. Now, we're gonna go to a tree. So you can bring the left foot up, bring the inside of the foot, the bottom of the foot, to the inside of the right leg. Can't speak, man. I don't know what's my problem. And then left leg is back, shoulders square up, palms together, lock the fingers, then the pointing fingers, index fingers, point out, and then take the left thumb, place it over the right, or you can have the thumbs together, whatever you like to do. And it goes to the heart center. This is just a symbolic hand gesture. And then you go up and you inhale and then exhale. And just like we were doing in the salutations, just focus on the breathing, thinking of nothing else but of the breathing. Now, if you need to go to a wall, go to the wall. If you need to bring the foot down, bring the foot down. It doesn't matter. That's where you are. That's what you're accepting. We're not going to stay here long. And then go ahead and release. And bring it down. Shake it out. So if you're going up and down, it's all right. That is where you are. When mind and body's connecting, it doesn't matter. You're up. You're doing it perfectly, or so-called perfectly. That's judgment. You're doing it. You're like, man, this is awesome. And you go down, up, down. You're moving around. It's fine because you're keeping the mind and body stable, and the mind and body are becoming one. And what you're learning here is when you get off the yoga mat, you're doing the same thing in your daily life. You're messing up, so-called messing up. You're shifting, you're adapting, you're moving, and you're learning to stay in a meditative state in the tree pose, going up and down. And you stay in that meditative state after yoga throughout your daily life. You do the same thing. You adapt, you adjust. You go this way, you go that way. It doesn't matter. That's what you're learning. Yoga is more than a single pose. Yoga is the entire routine. Yoga is the mind and body connecting during the yoga routine. Yoga continues off the mat. It's a mindset. So, other side. So, right foot goes up. The bottom of the right foot goes into the inside of the left leg. Knee goes back. Square up the shoulders. Whoa, see, I almost fell. Palms together. Lock the fingers, index fingers point, left thumb is over the right to the heart center, and then arms go up. Inhale, and then release, and then just watch yourself breathe. Again, if you're moving around, it's all right. Doesn't matter. I just cracked my ankle. And then go ahead and release. And shake it out. See, I have an issue with my leg. Well, I feel it here. It's actually from my spine. I feel it here. And when I get stressed, and I've been stressed lately, just because kids, 4 kids, bills, and work. See, I get stressed too, especially bills. Bills, I'm like, God, another bill? What? What's this green sheet on my front door? What? I didn't pay the water bill? That's true. I don't know what color it was. I think it was orange, actually. So feet are shoulders apart. Then we're going to end here in the mountain pose. Toes go out, spread the toes. Each toe touches the floor one at a time. Knees are bent, hips are tilted, arms relaxed, shoulders relaxed, neck is relaxed. Find that stability and just focus on the breathing, thinking of nothing else but of the breathing. Watching yourself breathe. You're already breathing, so you're not controlling it, you're just watching it. We're just going to stay here a little bit longer, so just watch yourself breathe. Become one, let the mind and body connect as one. Think of nothing else. Your mind will wander. You'll think of something else. Speak, man. You'll think of something else other than the breathing. So you'll think about coffee. You'll think about going to work. You'll think about, well, it's Sunday, going to church, whatever. And when you realize, hey, I'm not thinking about my breathing, then just bring your focus back to the breathing. Don't judge it. Just bring your focus back to the breathing. Bring the palms together. Namaste. That's it. That is number 226 YouTube Live Yoga Routine. So in the beginning, I actually talked longer than I should. For some reason, well, one, I can't talk. You can see that. So for some reason, I'm in a talkative mood. I usually am not. So I will see you tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. Arizona time, Mountain Standard Time. So namaste. Peace and love.